Jeez, we got double screens going on with the same capture. All right, welcome everyone. This is your host Garreltsy, and this is VR Jungle Podcast. I was a little confused because I'm seeing two things going on right now when you should only be seeing one. I will fix that here in a second, but we also have my lovely co-host Kuss. Kuss, can you introduce all of our affiliates really quick, the four that we have, while I fix this image really quick?
Of course. So our first, we're going to do from my right to left, which is probably your guys' left to right. But Ruck Up, they make the VR straps, right?
Rook Up is VR straps and
Yeah. VR
decals.
straps with the decal, yes, the decals. VR straps. So if you like that nice pro strap instead of, just better hold against your head, very great company. I don't have any of his products, but I do love seeing other people use them because they do look very comfortable. His decals are amazing. It's too bad I can't use them because I have my little vent. Then we have ProTube. If you want to level up your gaming and have a little bit more realistic of a buttstock in your shoulder, they have tons of options from cheap to expensive. They're really cool. Go ahead and look them up. Then, of course, we have VR Cover, which is our cover company for the set gaskets. And they have really nice PU leather to help keep your headset hygiene, if you will. And then W, of course, that is our energy brand, who has nutritious energy drinks and all this other type of stuff. And they just released a couple new things, so go check it out too.
You got to talk about ProTube as well?
Yeah, I already did.
All right, good. It's not as easy as you think now, is it?
It was pretty easy. I just had to remember the first one.
Yeah. You got to remember stuff. But anyways, before we get going on, great job, Kuss, on going to that lineup. Why I fixed the screen for some reason it wanted to double
Welcome,
up
Shadow.
stuff. We had a lovely start where my OBS for some reason likes to completely write over my Monday podcast with my actual stream podcast. I mean, with my stream from Twitch. I don't know why it does it, but it's always a fun, this is definitely a Monday type of feeling. But right in front of you, we have, last week we talked about our merchandise. You can still check that out. All the things that Kuss just talked about, and alongside our website and our merchandise is all in the link in the description, so go check them out. Go check out the website. I've been trying to get more people to go check this out as well. I work hard to make sure that this is running nice and smooth with everything going on. Also am very horrible at updating it as well. I have to slap myself in the wrist to sit down just every Sunday just to kind of update all of our teams and things like that. But from here, you can see basically who we are. You can get to the Discord, all of our stores, from our jerseys to our merchandise. You can look up at all our teams as well. You can look at our affiliates. We have nice little sections for them. And then we also have a section for the VR Jungle Podcast. So let's go ahead and get over to the live screen. Please be what I want it to be. Awesome. I thought I was going to be the freaking...
It's us.
It's us. Look at that. So how you been this week, Kuss?
Good. Hopefully, I got to shoot a 50 caliber machine gun.
I saw that.
The M2.
Awesome. Looked like your aim was just as horrible as it was in games.
Yeah. You can't tell. You can't tell from that camera angle. Nice try though. But you can hit up to almost a mile away pretty accurately, and it's scary.
Yeah, that thing was looked like it had some power. You had a freaking massive tripod on it.
Yeah, it needs it because otherwise your bullets go from here to here, and it's bad because the mount actually has to hold it down for you because the recoil is just too bad.
Yeah, so do you still have to hold it forward, or does the tripod pretty much hold
Tripod does it all.
Does it all? Okay.
It adjusts slightly with your kick,
yeah.
But otherwise you're in the a general location. Not that small, but give it 10 feet.
So do you have to anchor it down then?
It digs in the sand. So when you shoot, you kick it in the sand the first time, and sometimes it doesn't work because the ground's wet.
Mm-hmm.
So then you bury the tripod even more, and it's perfect then.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it seemed like you had really no too much to worry about. It was just toom 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 toom.
Nope, just go for it.
Yeah. So how big of a hole would that put in a person if you just shot like the torso? Like 50
Probably
cal
split you.
damage?
It'd probably split you in half.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what was it shoot?
50 caliber.
Oh, it does shoot 50 cal.
50 caliber. Yeah.
Well, wait. Whoa. That was a. Oh, so it was a 50 cal LMG.
The Browning M2. Browning M2.
Okay, because it was belt fed, right?
Belt fed machine gun.
Okay.
Open bolt? No. Closed bolt. Yeah, closed bolt.
I want to shoot one.
Say good luck. There's
Yeah.
$12,000 weapon system.
Yeah, yeah. There's some places I think in St. Louis I can go to shoot it. Speaking of St. Louis, we went to this one like little area. We don't really have very many like places to go for people to experience like those type of VR, like the Omni place that they have where you can go and actually compete with their headset and their game. We were just like in this random like place where you can eat and it's been around forever. And all of a sudden I walk past this place and these people are playing virtual reality in these little hubs. And I'm like, what is this? This is like the middle of nowhere in St. Louis. I told my wife, I might have to go in there and be like, hold on. You guys know who I am? just
You guys know me?
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
It was pretty cool though. I definitely wanted to try it out because it was like
Wait, St. Louis, Missouri, right?
Yeah.
So I know somebody there who owns a VR store.
Might have been that because I've never heard of them at all, and we just.
What was the name?
I can't remember the name. It was a name I've never heard before.
Dog XR or something like that?
No, it wasn't that.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything XR. But they had like when someone dresses up for a movie role with those little balls all over them to be captured through the programming. They had like balls on the guns because they had full guns. They had haptics on them that had the ball on it, and then even their VR headset had little balls on it for trigger points.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think it was just more than just being in a VR game. I think the whole room was immersive.
Yeah.
And I think that it might have been AR as well. So I think like it might have been mixed reality, with
I've seen those.
VR and AR.
They have the backpacks on instead of like a PC.
Yes, yeah, they had a
sprint around.
Yeah, they had a backpack on. Yeah. So
all right, let's hop into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
VR outside of gaming.
Yeah, let's do it. The biggest thing that I want to
I had a really cool book I read. Obviously he doesn't sponsor the channel. Clive Cussler died recently. He wrote the book Marauders. And so to put it basically at the start of the book, you have these special forces members who intercepts a ship that got boarded by pirates, and they go in and it's terrorists, but they're presumed pirates. So the pirates plant bombs in locations, and he puts on these AR glasses, and he downloaded the map of the ship, and so it showed him where everything was on the ship. Really cool. That's cool. Like something that could be used in the future if they have the battle plans. They could just put the AR glasses on, and it'll take them right where they need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also another movie, because everyone always talks about like Ready Player One when it comes to like the biggest VR game. Don't get me wrong, Ready Player One is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. But there was also that one with Keanu Reeves as well, that they have a very futuristic VR headset that as well that he plugs in, which is
you mean Matrix?
No, not Matrix.
Because you can technically consider it VR because they plug it in and they're going into the internet. Yeah. Technically it's VR.
Hold on, now you're doing this to me because now I got to freaking look up the movie. But gosh, what was it? If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to see it. But he might have. He basically what happens is the VR headset does something where it comes to like the police force. And somehow he gets framed, but someone like leaves out some key thing of what's going on in this. Like, crap. What is it? Is it like they tell time with it? Something weird. Hold on, let me get the freaking movie really quick.
Yeah, just look up his cinematography and scroll.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna have to look it up later because we don't got time to look it up right now.
Look it up. I'll do it. I got you. Keep talking. I'm good at multitasking.
Okay, but anyways, you look it up for me. But yeah, it's Keanu Reeves with a VR headset on. And
He
there's
was good
other
in Constantine. God, such a good movie.
yeah, and there's many other games that you just kind of like shortly see like people start putting VR on, but that movie is from the freaking 90s. But so our main topic today, because we always talk about esports and gaming and stuff like that, and we will get into
Hmm.
a small segment about gaming later. But I wanted to talk about this last week, but we had a surprise guest on that made us switch pretty much what we want to talk about. But the biggest thing that I think with VR outside of just gaming, because yeah, gaming will be a huge portion of VR, but I think that if people don't start looking at VR more than just gaming, like what they try to do with the Cambria and other headsets as well, especially when they come with the Google glasses, anything like that that has AR capabilities, like the biggest thing that I want to eventually even go into, like with like the company that I work with, is learning how to take software and do training. Like there's so many things.
The police does it a lot.
Yeah, the police
A
do it a
lot.
lot, and it's just like if people would just listen to me and understand that the training that you could do in VR would save your company potentially millions of dollars from one having to buy the actual product to train on, when you could just have a software engineer make it and then update it anytime there is updates
Yeah.
to a manual that you have, safety regimens, any type of things you have to look into. And the biggest one is like nursing, for the people that don't necessarily want people to dissect shit all the time or really look into like anatomy with real stuff, because a lot of people are just are against it. You could put that in a VR headset and literally look at a body and start grabbing things in VR and start pulling out what they are for studying. Like there is so many
Yeah,
capabilities
yeah.
with that.
I've seen medical, I've seen
Yeah,
electronic ones because you to
yeah,
build my PC. There's so many different ones actually that I've seen. And it's really cool. I
yeah.
mean, the market's, the sky's the limit at the moment,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know it's not gonna completely take away real training, because there is things in real training that you need to actually feel to understand what it is. For instance, for a utility company, for people that are the people in the bucket trucks, stuff like that, that are climbing up the to fix all the transformers and things like that. Why just skipped my mind what they're freaking called. What are they called? What are they called? Um, it's gonna drive me crazy. I just forgot what they're called. But
say it
anyway,
again.
the people that go up in the bucket trucks. Why can I not think of the journeyman?
The electricians,
No, no, no. I forgot what they're called.
linemen.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew it and then I lost it. So with the linemen, they have things that test out, and they actually need to understand what it feels like to be around something live, because then you trust
Mnemonic.
your
Johnny
instincts and stuff.
Mnemonic.
Is that what
That's
it
the
is?
VR movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, watch it
Keep
if you
going
haven't
though.
seen it. It's a good one. And so, but the good thing is that with VR, you could learn more about than what you're just doing in real life, because then you can actually see like, hey, when you have this wire and you're about to touch the transformer, this is how much wattage you are now connecting, and it will actually show you the math and everything. And then if you how far you can actually be to actually even though you're right here, you're still having a current that's still connecting, that if you get grounded, you're going to get you potentially could die.
Yeah.
And so I think from a learning standpoint, people also need to see the numbers and the mechanical side of things as well. But then, yeah,
It would help. Yeah.
it is nice to also do things in real life, because then you can see how heavy it is, how labor intensive it's going to be, if it's even for you, if you can even handle it as an abled human being, things like that. But yeah, I think like nursing, utility work, anything, even in the field of engineering,
Sports medicine,
sports
even better,
medicine, yeah.
because they're like doctors, but they just don't have a degree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of like high-end nurses, that are pretty much doctors that also don't have the full doctorates as well. But the training capabilities are unlimited when it comes to many things. Like you mentioned sports science. It's like
Yeah.
if you if you go into a scenario and you say, all right, this person is out in the field, they have a hurt leg, and he says his knee hurts, you can literally eventually probably put on a VR headset that one will have capabilities to look at his knee and exactly understand.
Maybe not look at his knee, because CAT scans they're huge. You could what's it called that they use for babies? What's called, little piece that they wand the babies, and they to ultrasound, could use an ultrasound to scan the knee, and
Yeah,
then it could upload into the headset. It's
yeah,
possible,
yeah. But
because
what I'm
there was videos of like something like that,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely know what you mean with like ultrasound. But
the
what I'm
commercials.
talking about is like you put on like a pair of AR glasses and you start inputting where they say they hurt,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and then
like
you
a diagnosis.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
a diagnosis thing. And you have something like Chat GPT that comes in that starts picking out what you're saying, and then it says, okay, from what you gave me, as long as he's being honest with where he's truly hurting, you could self-diagnose someone on the spot to understand, like, hey, you're probably not going out there, and we need to
Mm.
take you to a hospital. So I definitely see things like that growing, and then like when it comes to engineering and architecture and that type of field, I can see a lot of cool things happening with reverse engineering to where you can actually take
Yeah.
a product and actually dissect it as well. Even as mechanics, you could take a whole engine and just
There's
completely
vehicle
open it
building.
up.
Yeah, there's vehicle building.
Hmm.
I've seen it. It's cool.
Yeah, and,
There's
and I just wish that they would more people would pick it up because what do you think the industry needs to do to completely understand how do you think it just needs more time?
I think it needs more time to develop. We're in this place of like, we have tons of games, maybe not high quality enough to be considered like a AAA game, like pancake games. But we have enough of them to where it's good. We just don't have I think the library where people would want to, because a lot of other games for VR right now are matchmaking. There's no story modes, which people get into story modes.
Hmm.
And the few story mode games that we have that were AAA were garbage, because they didn't listen to VR users. They were just making it like a pancake game.
Yeah, yeah, and I wonder like when the switch for school like is going to switch because obviously
Kind of like Minecraft, they have this like science mode for schools and stuff.
yeah.
It is, and it eventually, hopefully, VR gets there. For maybe not. I think VR for younger kids would be too soon. I think middle school, maybe high school, would be the perfect age to introduce VR
I mean,
teaching
hell,
to.
they're already giving them freaking tablets by the time that they're in
Yeah,
kindergarten.
that I don't agree with that, but that's my prerogative.
Yeah, and I it's not, yeah, I understand exactly, and I think a lot of people are with that. But I know as a person who learns visually and not verbally, I think that growing up with a VR headset instead of like tablets and stuff, and being more intuitive with actually what's going on, I think that I would have learned like a lot quicker, a lot easier. Obviously, my sitting down and test taking skills would probably just never improve, but still, when it came to, but when
Like, your practical abilities would
yeah,
be like multiplied tenfold, because you could do things that necessarily would cost too much money in a controlled environment,
mm-hmm,
and then you could go do the practical like outside of the VR. Like, say you practiced welding,
yeah,
and then you're like, okay, I got a hang of it. The actions aren't going to be the exact same, but you have a general idea of how fast you have to go,
yeah,
how to roll if you have to
mm-hmm,
roll. Like, there's so much to add to it. Like, eventually, hopefully, VR will get to the point where it's almost 1-to-1. But
yeah,
at the moment, it's a pretty good explanation, like clearing rooms, shooting things. Some VR games are hyper realistic, and that's
mm-hmm.
perfect. It's awesome.
Yeah,
And then
yeah. You talk about hyperrealism. You see the new game that just came out,
yeah, I've seen a lot of the stuff.
the Unreal
I
Engine 5,
yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like pretty much damn near real.
brand, yeah.
That
And I
game, that game's not gonna pass through. I doubt it.
no, no. But there's like shop class. You could put together something the correct way or the wrong way. And it might not look the best, but it
Well,
teaches you the skill. And then you could go and transfer. Or dissecting for science class. Who knows how much people spend on, cadavers from animals? Because, if one per kid or one per two kids, and you have 30 people in the class, it's 15. Multiply that by 8 because we had 8 what you call it, class times, 8 classes in a day.
Yeah.
That's
Think
a
how
lot
many
of
frogs
money.
you're killing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I see so much potential with it, because, like, yeah, you bring up a lot of really good points with all the subjects that you could have. Like, for instance, you talk about, like, someone first learning woodworking, carpentry, welding, things like that. And I think
stuff that has a higher level of danger, which you can mitigate.
Exactly. And here's the biggest thing is that if you give someone a VR headset pre-doing anything, you could step by step always remind them about safety. You could literally show people getting their hands cut off in VR, just like, this is what happens if you get your hand too close to this. You're gonna get chopped off.
Oh, it'd be really freaky. So you have your 2 controllers, right? If you accidentally put your hand through the saw, you could see your hand actually get
Exactly.
Like a cinematic, not like an actual like, oh, your hand pops off, because then people think it's funny, but it transfers to a real video to just you see, the gore.
Exactly.
It's too much for kids.
Too much for kids, but high schoolers,
dude, that'd be hilarious. God.
But also, it's like, I've seen a lot when I was in high school. I was in wood shop, and I saw a lot of people ruin wood and like waste, a lot of the school's money because they just didn't understand anything
or
about
use the incorrect tools.
Or exactly. Yeah. And so the cool thing is about VR with programming is that you could eventually have your whole entire area that you have in your workshop that you can have downloaded in there, as long as you, if they built a software for that. And then the student would build exactly what they want in VR, get the actual plans and how it's properly supposed to be made, and the understanding of the safety, the tools that you need to use, and then the step-by-steps in VR, and then go do it out there. I think that if you had a step-by-step like that, it would completely take out the error, because a lot of times when it comes to humans, all we are freaking humans of nature of trial and error. The very first time that we came out of the womb, we were instantly doing trials and error until we figure out how to walk.
Even pushing our parents' buttons, like,
exactly.
How do you get fed? You scream a bunch.
Exactly. Exactly. If you want some attention, just shit your pants. That's all you got to do.
I mean, people do that in real life now, and it's okay.
I'm a 30-year-old man. It happens, man. It happens. You get older, things slip. Okay, Kuss?
Whoops.
Yeah. But yeah, and so definitely with that, and then with cadavers and things like that, you could literally take out any costs from a school from biology to then get into even more extreme dissecting, because a lot of times school can only maybe not afford frogs, and then you're just doing like owl pellets. A lot of people do owl pellets and stuff like that, and to understand the anatomy of like the owl shit, that they literally just cocoon a freaking animal and then they shit it out.
I never did that.
You never did?
I did a squid. I got to do a squid. That was really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, I've done a frog, I've done a cat, and things like that. But if you do it in VR, I think kids will definitely get more of a kick out of it, because then it's a game. You have a lot of kids that didn't want to learn because they would literally pass out. I literally saw a girl instantly drop and pass out, and I
saw a couple people
and hit her head off the ground. It's like, we weren't expecting someone to pass out.
You could show them on the same side of the coin, not even just dead animals, live animals. You could show them Paleolithic animals from, like some of the other ages where there was dinosaurs roaming there, Thor, et cetera, like extinct species is whatever, however you say that word, speci, whatever. But yeah, there's the ability to learn with VR is a lot more than people can imagine. Like, imagine the startup cost for VR if they all had Quest 2s. Just a measly Quest 2.
They already bought every kid a freaking laptop.
I know. Instead of a laptop, a $400 headset. and then maybe a Fire tablet. 'Cause Fire tablet's only 80 to $100. That's all they need it for, is for books. And then all the practical stuff you could do on the VR headset. Then you'd only technically be spending $480 to $600 per child. And then as a startup cost, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they turn it in. Granted, the repairs are going to be maybe a little expensive, but nothing comparatively to replacing the entire laptop. When you're just a broken controller is only like 60 to $80.
Yeah.
Comparatively to like a laptop, where if they break the laptop, it's like $1,000 sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely see a lot of potential in it, but schools always are very slow. I mean,
And they're finicky because they want a certain way to learn. And then if the kids aren't learning that way, they're going to be like, well, you see how this isn't working, even though they might be teaching it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because
well, they definitely should introduce it, because the way that I was taught was, I was taught like anyone that was born, I think pre-2000. We didn't even have projectors yet. We had these like weird projectors that were like
it's the projectors that you had to place the little sheets on top of,
and you they
and you could write on it. Yeah.
That's what I grew up with, man.
I had that. I thought
you were a youngin.
I am young, but we still had that because we were broke ass school.
Oh, you're a broke ass school. That's why.
And then we got the smart boards, which were the projectors.
I never got the smart boards. I was at a school by the time the smart boards came.
Yeah, those are cool. I never got to use them. I mean, a couple times, but they had a lot of functionality to them. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Hey, let's just do laptops," and then, "Hey, let's just do."
Yeah, my mom's a teacher, and she was like one of the very first people that I feel like would have got a smart board, because the school that she went to was kind of a wealthier school, and they weren't really up to par the first time. Like their feedback on some of the pins were just not accurate. I'm just like, how are you even writing on that? That would make my mind go nuts. But yeah, I feel like I don't think it'll ever start in schools. I think it'll have to start in some type of adult scenery, because they would always have to get the adults to sign on first. And then, if some adult goes, "Oh, I do that at work," yeah, I think my child would definitely learn from that.
Adult applications are a lot more educationally. Like if they did it in universities, like if they had just a class of university students just go through and do whatever subject they need.
Yeah.
Science, because geology, you could go to different parts of the world in your headset and then look at the rocks.
Yeah, I know. Just imagine there's so much money saved in all this, because.
And then if you wanted to, you could go visit that location yourself and be like, oh, this is how accurate this is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's why I like the new like Chat GPT that comes out. Like they added
AI is scary. I don't like AI.
AI is scary, it definitely is. You got to watch what you do with it. But they added AI to Snapchat, and I just been using it like Google. If I have a quick question and I just don't want to Google anymore, I just ask that and it gives me the exact answer I want.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I know it's the correct one, because a thing is that a lot of times when you Google stuff, you can always find.
You gotta search.
You have to search. And then not only do you have to search, but if you're trying to prove someone with an argument, you have to search for your correct answer, because you can search enough and you'll find that you're right in some formality.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT lays it down just cold cash. Like, that's the answer. This is what it is. That's what I like. And then every once in a while, I'll start asking how it's going to take over the world. It doesn't like when I ask it that.
Yeah, that's funny. I had a friend piss it off. It was funny.
Oh, I had it pretty mad the other day. I had it rapping. Dude, I had it write me songs, and a lot of people say it can't write songs, but I got it to write some songs. I had it write me some songs like Blink-182. That was pretty funny. I had it rap for me. That was pretty fun.
Man, like, but for VR learning, there is so much that could be done and saved in the small startup cost of VR. Because and then if you wanted to, you can go bigger and better and get like, I don't know, a big screen VR or something like that, where it's a higher tier title and it's got better graphics, visuals, etc., etc.
So I got a question for you then. That it all makes sense that it would work in learning scenarios, right?
Hmm.
So when the Cambria came out, that was tailored for the workforce. Why did it fail? Was it too
It
soon?
wasn't marketed product. It wasn't marketed properly.
Marketed properly or do you think that
I
VR
don't think
headset is not meant to be used in that capacity of an oh wow, I have an extra screen.
I don't think it was marketed properly, and I don't think the application is necessarily taken seriously. I don't think they piloted it in like if they piloted it in an official business like say Coca-Cola, where they took 70% of their work staff who work normally, and then you have 30% who work with the VR headset. And the only thing physical on their desk would be their keyboard and whatever else they wanted. Otherwise, you could print from your VR headset, et cetera, et cetera. Like your whole workspace would be
Yeah.
your headset. And if they pilot it and show how organized you can be, because a lot of people don't get really organized, you can pop out as many, little tidbits you need
Mm-hmm.
to do whatever work you need to do. And you
Yeah.
could have them all go. Like you could have 4 little boxes up here, and then you could look to your right, and it could be, I don't know, like your emails for the day, and then you look in your left, and then you've got your, I don't know, your music is playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I do, I have my 2 screens and I can pop them out into my VR headset, and then I have like a separate screen of what's playing in the background.
Do
And so
you
it's very effectual. It just needs to be used more.
do you think that if we had like another year of COVID lockdown that it would be more successful?
No, COVID really didn't do much for the VR space other than let people play more. That's all it did.
I've heard a lot of good
It
things
didn't.
about people.
It didn't. It made people's lives better,
Yeah.
sure, but it didn't. It didn't affect VR as a whole. It only allowed the player count to go up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that changed in VR for during the pandemic, because it's really it's not really dependent on anything. The VR market's VR market. It's like computers. Like you can only do so much
Yeah.
and affect it via either hiring more people or more variety.
Yeah.
But
And they just had another layoff to where it affected even
everybody had layoffs because of
dude,
the economic downturn that's happening. But
dude. It was bad.
digress.
They even let people go at onward, which makes me feel like they're about to shut those servers down like they did to Echo.
I don't know. But yeah, like it's the practical abilities are endless. I think it's just it wasn't piloted properly and it wasn't
But where
introduced
would it be the
properly into
most
the
effective?
workforce.
Where would be the most
Office
effective?
jobs,
You think office jobs?
research,
I think research.
um,
Research would be a big one.
office jobs, research, maybe medical. Otherwise, outside of that, like learning is probably the biggest one outside of those.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about learning and things like that. What do you
Mhm.
think about fitness?
I don't think it belongs in the fitness hemisphere. I think it has an impact for those who don't have the availability to go to a gym. But outside of that, I don't think it really has too much of a fitness goal because of all the movement. Once you get, I don't know, maybe into a more, honestly, I can't say. I don't think it belongs in that sphere. I
Mm-hmm.
think you either have to work out or you don't.
Okay,
Because
because I see it
because
differently. Just because I've been studying,
I just think
working
that
out since I was
the
a
heavy
kid.
the headsets just alone, like the headsets do not work for workouts because
I think it'll change that when the Quest
not
3
full
comes out.
workouts, not full workouts. I think for partial workouts, like maybe arm workout, like you're doing Beat Saber or something,
Mm-hmm.
it's great for that. I don't think you can do powerlifting with it. I don't think you can do sprinting with it. I like it's there's not. I mean, unless you get the VR treadmill, which you're just paying overpriced for a treadmill at that point. Like
Okay, but so do you think exercise would have more of a place, not in VR, but more AR, to where
No, I don't
You
think.
don't even
I
think
don't.
AR. They have
No,
literally
no.
mirrors right now that train people while they look at themselves, and they have a person that
Okay,
people are huge
it might
following.
affect it might affect your form, but it doesn't affect your willingness to go to the gym or
Yes, I
willingness.
know that. I know it's not gonna.
That's what
That's your
I'm getting at.
personal
That's what I'm getting at.
intuition on that.
I don't think it's going to work out well. I think yes, it does have a cool element. Do I think it belongs in that hemisphere? No, it's going to be difficult to apply. It's not applicable in many ways. But yeah, you're right. It's another learning tool, though. As we're back to the learning tool, we're
Hmm.
back to it'll show you what you're doing wrong and get you in the correct
That's what
form.
I want it for.
And then,
I want
that's
glasses to
all
tell me
you
what to
need it.
do.
That's all you use it for workouts, though. That's
Yeah,
all it's going to be good for. Outside of that, once you learn the form, you don't need it anymore. You can tell it to fuck off. Like that it's usefulness. You won't have to hire trainers because you'll have the person to do it for you properly.
hmm I would
But
just like AR
who's gonna push you?
for like it'd be cool to use AR for workouts, for learning progressive overload, to know, certain scenarios when you're tired, overworked, overwhelmed, how to relieve stress, like things like that. I think
Yes,
would
that's
eventually.
stress and stress relief. I've seen yoga and I've seen workout like
Do you think,
uh
okay, if it's not going to be in the athletic field, now imagine someone putting a VR headset on and doing yoga?
that's a thing. That is a thing and it does work. I can it's like those TV show the old TV commercials
Hmm.
or like the old TV because they had a channel that did the sports stuff and they did yoga and stuff and people would follow it and do the workouts or tape it
Yeah, I
and
I
it's going
only
to be
have
exactly like that
I only have those three men that are all
yeah,
right,
that's
high
funny.
knees right now,
Yeah,
and they're doing like some '90s freaking doop 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 doop
I don't
doop.
think the headset would not work for that. All that running,
Yeah, I know.
the poor
Well,
thing.
I think that
But
VRs just
yoga,
need to get
yes.
smaller. They just need to get smaller. I think that, in my opinion, when the Quest
But
3
you could
comes
do
out.
AR at that point. You wouldn't need to use VR for certain things. You could do AR for the
But
yoga.
here's the thing: the difference between AR and VR is that VR can black out your senses, right? AR, you're still in your surroundings. You can still see pass through. That's the difference between AR and
You
VR.
can turn it off though and have like a full surrounding of what's going on around you.
Yeah, I mean, but you'd have to do that and
You'd
choose
have
that
to
over the
program it.
glasses, and you have to program
Yeah.
it. I mean,
But it's possible and cheaper technically.
yeah, I think that for certain things to work, I think VR just needs to get smaller. And they already did it.
Yeah.
The Quest 3 is going to be
Big screen
like,
VR,
I think,
tiny.
what is it? 30 like point 30 like 0.37 ounces, something
Yeah.
stupid that I can't wait, because I've been telling like people, like, me, I told you I'm taking a couple of days off of VR because I've been having neck pain because I
I've
play
heard a
so
lot of
much
Deckard
VR.
stuff. Deckard's gonna be a standalone, I think. And they're gonna have connectivity just like
But
the
it's probably gonna be
indexes.
it's probably gonna be massive, dude. I've seen the first Deckard, like the
It's like
prototype, and it was huge.
it's they made it smaller because of the competition. It's
Well, do
confirmed
you see that new one that came
gonna be
out?
lighter.
That's
Yeah,
like this big.
it's the big screen. Yeah, big screen VR.
Yeah, that one, dude. If it didn't have a cord, I'd buy it today. I'd buy it for $5,000 if it didn't have a cord.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'd
You
buy
won't
it.
buy a Pimax though and look like a shark.
Hey, but at least you'll get 180 degrees, okay?
Oh, dude, that's the only reason why I'd buy it.
For
Like
180
it's cool.
degrees.
It's cool.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
gonna make it smaller though. They're gonna make it smaller.
They're gonna have to, because I can tell you right now, the one downfall of VR is that a lot of us are gonna have some neck pains when we're older. I already
I already
feel
have neck pain.
the toll of VR in my neck, and it's just like it is. I just have to take a couple days off because my neck was like it's getting like a weird like kind of tinging in it. Like I can feel like I need some WG-40 in that old shithead. Like god damn,
That's funny.
like something's going on that's not correct. I just need a couple days off. But I was also playing like between the like the 3 games that came out. I put like so many hours in that.
Reachers,
Yeah,
support. What's the other one that you've
dude,
been
my
playing?
VR, I was glued to my VR set during that time to where I think I just need my neck's like, dude, like live in the real world
Chill
for
out,
a quick
bro.
second. Exactly. Yeah. And so Breachers league starts this week, but tomorrow actually we have to schedule our first match. And then my co-captain was just like, you gonna be able to play this week? I'm just like, I will be ready to play.
You need a fill in,
this
I can
week.
fill in for you.
I know. We can't. It has to go off the freaking roster.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, can I ringer for you? Is there ringers?
Yeah. We'll just throw you in there and see if people notice.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so I definitely I can see what you mean with the exercise, but it all depends. Really.
I think exactly. It's unfortunately that's VR as a whole. It depends.
It depends.
Depends on how it goes, and it sucks because like there's a lot of movement in the the hemisphere of VR, but it's all in the same place at the moment. There's not enough marketing. There's not enough like capabilities. That's what we need: marketing capabilities, and then the VR will launch.
Because all it really, if you want to talk about like athleticism and then bringing like haptics into VR and stuff, we're just from one brilliant person making a VR suit to where it puts you into a gym to where you no longer have to go outside your house to go to fitness. But what this suit does is that it creates restraint against you on a certain thing. So you can be like, literally just be sitting down and it says, hey, just do this, and you're doing a 200-pound bench press, and that's what it feels like.
That'd be cool.
Exactly.
They already have the shirts that feel like you're shot, so I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how they would do that because like it'd be difficult.
It'd be difficult.
I think it'd be a special equipment.
Yeah, and you have to be really careful so you don't accidentally like
hurt yourself.
The program messes up and crushes you,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would either have to find some mechanics to do it, or they would have to do everything based off of,
imagine experiencing space underwater in a pool in VR.
Space underwater in a pool?
So you know how astronauts train to be on the moon, right? They go underwater in their suits.
Yeah.
Imagine full suit, but with a VR headset on, and you're in the pool, and then it just pops up with a lunar landing, and you get to move like you're underwater, you're in space. Dude, that'd be a cool ass experience.
So that's funny that you said it because that reminds me. So have you ever seen the show Upload? So there's another thing where, all right, so just a backstory of this show is called Upload, and then this person, there's like this whole entire different world that when you die, they cut your head off, but then they take your memory and they plop you into this like game, and it's like kind of you, it's your consciousness, but is it really is it really you? Is it you?
Kind of like what's the show Futurama where you get uploaded to
exactly, and so
that's hilarious.
They take your brain. Like I'm not gonna give away too many things, but you can go into this heaven that they created. But you have to put on this full wetsuit and get in a tub submerged in water and then put on a VR headset.
Kind of like what's the movie or there's game Cyberpunk when you do the deep dives.
No, the deep dives are awesome.
The plug-in, yeah.
Yeah, how crazy would that be when like that's gonna be like really crazy future is when we literally start modifying ourselves like
Cyberpunk.
I know, but we already are thinking about doing this with Elon's
the chip, the chip in the brain.
Yeah, what's it called? Neuralink.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
that's too scary for me. No,
I tell you right now, I'm not gonna be the first person to do it. I can tell you that.
I am not going to be any person. I'm not going to do that.
You wouldn't. Nope. Okay, you're telling me that if they say, all right, if you get Neuralink, you can literally just think on a beat like. And then you just
don't care. Don't care. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like it depends on especially like what you.
The cons outweigh the pros.
Not really.
You can be controlled with it.
You don't know that.
It's controlling your brainwaves to do what you wanted to do. Who says they can't get a hold of it and do it themselves?
Yeah, but who says that they're not? I mean, anyone with TikTok right now, you're following their propaganda anyway. So,
But you can have your own thought process at that
you
point,
don't
and you're
know that.
not
There's a lot
forced,
of dumb people that
and
get.
you're not forced to do what they say. You may be indoctrinated, but somebody can be over here and
Yeah,
change your
I see what you
thoughts.
mean. It is scary.
It's scary. No, that's
But if
why
they
I'll never
start
do it.
shoving it down our throats, then you really might need to read like Revelations or something, because something might be happening if they start forcing it down our throats. It'll be like, that's the mark of the beast. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So there's another show as well.
I'll go join the fucking Amish.
Yeah. Where I'm from, there's a whole bunch of Amish people.
Yeah.
They just live their own life out there. You know, Rumspringer, they party till like 7 a.m. Their parties start at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
They're freaking nuts. There's another show that came out as well that was all about VR. Most recently, it just came out last year, and it was really good. They get these VR headsets, and you would like it especially because they had a group of friends that were part of the military that had B-haptics installed into their bodies, so then they can link up as a team, so they could see and feel everything their team feels in a military scenario.
That's cool. That's cool.
You need to watch it, because they'll get into their military scenario and they're like, all right, everyone's linking up, and they start linking up and they start seeing everything, and if someone dies as well, they feel their own friend die. And it's a brotherhood that is way more extreme than what it is now, military.
I could not. Nope.
Dude, and you see that all, but the thing is that they were like the very first military people to get it during this like cyber war, and they didn't do a very good job about it, so it's like slowly freaking killing them as well because it's so painful. It's all sorts of nuts. But then they get this VR headset that puts you into like the future or another reality.
Imagine
it gets really nuts.
I got you. Imagine imagine just a cyborg. Imagine we start making cyborgs or robots that you could take over with a VR headset instead of having man-on-man war.
Yeah,
robot wars, proxy wars.
That's always been discussion.
It's eventually going to happen, and it has happened technically with think about it, the Predator drones. Predator drones are just robots that fly.
Yeah, those people, and dude, there's a movie about someone that flew a Predator drone, and like they get PTSD too, like because they feel the guilt of killing all these people, and
by a click of a button.
And it really messes with their head, like, you know.
So I know a couple drone operators. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, because they get the guilt, because there's like so many times where just like you're flying this unmanned plane, and they're just like, yeah, so your target is this whole entire village. Blow it up.
Well, maybe not that, but yeah.
And that's what happened in the movie.
Effect.
That's what happened in the movie. So
it's to that effect. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But VR capabilities are endless, unfortunately.
Oh, it is.
The technology is finite at the moment. We need more technology before we can actually.
Yeah, and the scary thing is we're about to have a major chip shortage.
Economic turndown.
I know.
That before who fucked the shortage? Economic turndown.
Oh, well, technically we already are in recession, and everyone should know that.
Yes, but it's going worse.
Oh, it's going to get worse for sure, and it's only going to secretly get better. It's going to be hidden. It's not like it's going to get better. It's just going to be hidden for a short time because presidential elections are coming up. So things will change just because the Democrat want to stay in
Democrats
office.
aren't going to win. There's so many people that hate Republicans right now.
Yeah.
But
we don't talk about politics. We're not getting into politics.
Less than
All right, but we don't get politics on this show.
No.
But I do want to say that people do need to just, be alert.
Make your own thoughts.
Yeah, make your own
thoughts and processes. Vote for who you want, not who your friends say to vote for.
Correct. And we're not here to shove that down your throat. I hate people that do that. And if people ever ask me what side I sit on, I go, I don't fucking care, because
I'm a moderate, so I sit on both sides.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't care.
Middle.
You guys do you. Literally, that's even when it comes to VR, when it comes to the gaming side, to us talking about like coming, like VR going into schools and then technology like that. these are all of our opinions on things that we think would be cool, but nothing that we either find factual or think that's going to happen or want you to believe that happen.
It's going to eventually happen.
It will. I
It's
mean, yeah.
for a lot of the
Everything's
for a lot of the
inevitable.
things we've said. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just who's going to doctrinate it. Who's going to actually push it to the next level. Because it only takes one smart individual to make a really good product that people can get behind, and then it just then the moon's just it's skyrocketing.
Right. So I'll ask the question for the wrap up. What do you guys think is the future of VR outside of gaming?
Yes.
Hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, please hit us in the comments. Join the Discord. We have a whole section for VR Jungle Podcast for people to talk in. Let us know if you think that VR will remain just for gaming. If you already are in the workforce and you actually have people that are using them that that'd be cool to hear about the stories. Or if you're a younger adult in school and you have one of your schools that actually introduced VR headset for some type of learning, we'd like to know that as well. We were going to talk about Apple, but we're not. I guess we just talked too long.
It's kind of if
you want to look it up, it's Apple. Their headset. They're literally.
It's gonna have mobile games.
They're grabbing rotten apples out of a tree just to have an apple. No pun intended.
I was upset.
Yeah. They are just this is short notice, and then we'll end it. Is that they're allowing thousands of their apps to be able to be used on their headset, which is still going to be as of now
gonna be like an
still
iPhone.
AR VR headset. I literally think that, in my opinion, Apple will have success with its Apple followers. Because they have a huge cult following when it comes to that. I know a lot of people that love Apple so much, it doesn't matter what it is. They're buying it.
It's you.
Oh, I'll definitely buy it. I'll play some Pokemon
Exactly.
Go. I'll bring some
Exactly.
Pokemon Go in my real life. I'm a sucker of some Apple products, man. I love Apple. But anyways, love you all. See you next Monday. We're going to try and get more guests on here. People have been so busy making their games. They're just like, we're just too busy. I'm just like, all right, whatever. We'll just still make up random shit.
Meanwhile, during their text, there's like a fire started in the background. Hey, we're busy. Oh shit.
Yeah. So leave that comment, Kuss. That was a good one.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and commenting that did comment. We will see you next Monday at our usual time at 8 p.m. East, 7 Central. And what is PST? I think it's 6 PST. I think that's what it is. Yeah, 6
3
PST.
hours.
Yeah, 3 hours. So 6 5 PST,
7
something like that.
5.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, wave at the camera, Kuss. See y'all.